Hi again, and welcome to session 4 of our all-day crafting party. And it's my mini catalog launch. I'm Rochelle Laird-Smith from Stamping in Melbourne. Thanks so much for joining me. We have been going through some fun stuff of our mini catalog, looking at products, looking at all the fun and exciting things in there, and we've had a walkthrough. I'll let you know about all our specials on this weekend. I'm having prizes. Just hop onto my Facebook page and check out everything. I will recap at the end. And I'm just going to go through straight into some product now. And if you look at the Sale-A-Bration catalog, look on page 1 of that catalog, you will see the Flower and Field Designer Series paper. And I just wanted to show you the paper. I haven't done too many samples with this, but I wanted to just show you a bit of so you can have a bit of a look at that. And it's really pretty paper, and I like that it's got like a single color with the pattern on one side, and then you've got the flowers on the other. So it makes it easy. So you don't even have to use another paper. You just use the same sheet, top and bottom, or that way. Coordination, that's what Stampin' Up is best known for, their coordination. So I'm not sure if some of you may not be familiar with Stampin' Up products. For instance, we have across the board, we'll have colors. Say, for instance, a real red. Our real red ink pad will match perfectly with our real red cardstock. When we have real red ribbon, you won't have to try and match the red. You will know that it will perfectly coordinate. So it really makes it very easy. Another thing you will notice in our catalog, where they have a suite or a designer series paper mentioned, it gives you what colors the palette is. Now you don't have to stick with that color palette, of course, but it gives you an indication to assist with your color coordination. And that's a good starting point, so you don't have to think too much if you don't want to, and that makes it easy for quick creations. Isn't that pretty? I love the black background on that. It's really nice. So this is a free designer series paper which you can get with a purchase of $90. That's lovely too. I just wanted to let you know that in that catalog there is an offer of the Flower and Field Project Collection, which currently we will be unable to meet that due to our Whisper White cardstock no longer being in production. We have a basic white range, but they're unable to meet that particular collection as such, but the individual products, you can purchase them separately. The gingham ribbon is available. You can get that punch. All the other things are there for you. It's just not available as one pack. So that's one thing. I will show you a few other things from that catalog for you, so it makes it a bit simpler and nicer to have a browse through. I was talking about kits in our mini catalog. At the start of the catalog, you see some kits. Just want to see what the exact name of this kit is. So this is on page 6, and it's called the Hello Dear Friend. This is an all-inclusive kit. So you do get a stamp set in it, and it has some really nice sentiments. Just a little note, thank you, a day to remember. So yeah, that could be an anniversary, it could be a birthday, a graduation, driver's license, anything. You make my heart smile just because. Occasion, I can't delete that. It says, doesn't help that I put that upside down. Hello, dear friend. So, these are the cards I created with it, but I will show you how it comes. So it's a few note cards as well. And how simple this is. I created these 5 in about 20 minutes. So the cards come like that. You get these for the sentiment, and they're basically a die cut, so you just pop them out, stamp your sentiment. These are all die cut, printed. You just pop them out. You can put them on your card. These are pre-printed. Nice vellum overlays for you, and some twine. It comes with one little ink spot, Misty Moonlight ink spot. You get those leaves. A complete set of instructions, pictures and what number corresponds to what the steps, and of course the stamp set. So it's a, bearing in mind that stamp set obviously does not just have to be used with this kit. So they're getting a stamp set which can be used over and over again. So it is a good little kit. It's 56, I think, I said before. So it's good value. Now I'm just going to hop onto the well-suited suite, and that's on, I think it was page 66, which was, and I'm just going to show you some samples with that. Please bear with me while I ruffle around in my bag, because I had it all bagged up to Sharon. Thank you, Sharon, for helping me yesterday. That was made my life a lot simpler. So this is the designer series paper. Very smart. Hi, Elaine. You're back. So it's shaped like that. So yes, great ties and suits and shirts, pinstripes. And even some flowers there. So you're going to get a good selection of, and I think of papers. And I think I like that touch of Poppy Parade, although I haven't used it in its full strength. That just having that little bit is a nice to just lift sometimes the greys and the blacks, adding a bit of color onto that. You get some twine as well, a pack of twine. So you get a night of navy, I think it's a basic gray twine in that. So that's a twin pack, a combo. So this card just has that twine. I have used that as a background, and I balanced it out with Misty Moonlight. Now, I don't think that was one of the colors that was mentioned in their palette, but I brought that in just to, because I like the color combination. I think it just doubled that Poppy Parade, and I created that label, the matte, by cutting the Misty Moonlight label in half and just splitting it in half and lifting that and sticking that down. Let's see, I haven't taken the backing off the dimensional as I'm looking at it. So quite a simple layout. Just stamp that on 3 different designer series paper pieces. You can use the scraps for that. stitch rectangles. That's one of my most used dies. It's a really useful die set and I use it all the time. This one is the same tie. I've stamped 3 times, die cut it, and another strip of scrap paper which I've put there, sentiment and your card, and then I'll just stamp the tie there. That's it. Created some pajama pants here with so this was the suit which I cut away and then used the braces straps to make the stitch banding, and I did cut that a bit finer. I like to make it a bit thinner, but just I have seen someone do ladies pajamas, just fun stuff. Now I changed this up. This was the grey paper and I've made that cherry. This is cherry cobbler. I used some of our classic designer series paper. So we have paper stacks in the classic ranges. So you can match any of our colors and you'll have a paper stack for that. So it's some simple designs, some wood grain, and some classic designs. Now this is the paper you're going to get if you purchase the starter kit, but it's going to be a new design for next year's, what will be coming in next year. So it's not even released yet. So you will be, if you decide to join, you're not haven't bought a starter kit yet. If you purchase the starter kit, which is $169, you will receive that as an added value. If your order is over 169 or in the vicinity, I would recommend that you get the starter kit because you can choose $235 of product and have an ongoing 20% discount, and absolutely worth it. Definitely worth it. Again, I've used those matte black dots. That's from that Caravan Always bundle, and that's sweet there. So I love you always sweet. It's just so nice. It goes with lots of stuff. I've kept my layouts clean and simple men's cards, and again I've just stamped in black, a bit of stamping blends in Seaside Spray if I remember correctly, a Night of Navy, a bit of that twine. You wouldn't think like checks and dots would go, but what I did was, if you tie in your base layer and then draw it in with a matte so it's the same color, you break that busy pattern so it's not overly busy, so you're tying it all in. This was the suit, and just a pop of color with that World's Greatest, because I think what I took off, it says to one of the world's greatest dads, and I just took off to one of them and I just left the world's greatest, so I just cut it off. So that was the selection, and then I did one of those treat boxes. I did it as a lady's, like a gift for a lady, and I decorated it as a blousey, I guess a cardigan type of thing. And this is just a piece of Whisper White which I've colored with the Ivory stamping brand. I embossed the collar with some pretty, the ornate garden, ornate floral embossing folder, and just wrap that. That's just wrapped around with some of that floral from the same designer series paper, and I just wrap that up, and that's like a pink up kind of look on that. So that's a bit of variation to that suite, which you can see. Um, the next suite I'm just looking at is the Hydrangea Hill. So it's a Hydrangea Hill suite with it's a Hydrangea Haven bundle, just to get us confused a bit sometimes. And I've got a few samples. I haven't done too many on this one, but I will still show you. It's got some beautiful paper, and the Highland Heather and those blues are really lovely. I love this paper. I just love it. It's so pretty. Look at those colors. Just lovely. It looks similar, but it's not. You love the suit card, Robin? Yeah, it's pretty cute, and it's easy to create too. It die cuts the suit and the collar, and and if you want to add braces and things, it's got all the dies for that as well. It it's got one die that cuts all the buttons. It's got 6 buttons in one hit. It cuts all that. So you've got a few options for the kerchief and all that. Yeah, it's a bit of fun, I think. Just your imagination with that one. So lovely little options. So a lot of, if you wanted to just create with this one, it's a simple stamping card. Stick that on a base, stamp a sentiment, and it's done. This suite has some lovely mercury acetate. I'll just show it to you on a nice white background. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So that's in Highland Heather, and I think this is Rococo Rose. Die cut some shapes or anything like that. Looks really nice. So this is that simple card I was talking about earlier. I just use the paper, and all this is you can just see. I've just tied some of that. This is a ribbon that comes in the suite, and it's just very sheer ribbon. I have used the oval dies, and I've stamped that sentiment, and that's all that is. Very simple card. This is another one I did. Again, I wanted to let the acetate stand out on that, so I picked up, used the designer series paper. I cut it in that way so I could have that in the corner. Then I fussy cut the same flowers and just stuck it on there with dimensionals. That's a mossy meadow to pick up on that. And then a bit of the sentiment. Now I have to say I'm not 100% sure about this card, but I just went with it, even though I wasn't really sure about it. I added some pearls just to make it like, but it wasn't like a bright color, so I just let it go, and I just had that. I just wanted to make that acetate stand out, and I think if you keep it simple, sometimes it's better with things like that. This one, my idea was to make best use of that hydrangea. So with the hydrangea, you get the stamp, which I'm going to show you a card I'm going to do with that. But you also get the dies. Now there's several layers for this die if you wanted to go the whole hog. It cuts that portion, which is what I've cut out of the designer series paper. That's why you get a variation in color. Then you get a die that cuts several of these little flowers separately. So that's what I've done, and then I pop them on that flower, on the main flower, so it pops it up even more. I did the leaf and then I cut out and die cut the white on top just to make it stand up. Again, I've used those beautiful pearls, and that's what you're gonna get with the order of $100 or more over the weekend. So those are those pretty pearls. Yeah. Um, Turning pretty more woman, the world is better because of you. And let me ask for a Mother's Day card. So the card I wanted to make with you today is this one. Sorry, that one. It's just simple stamping, and I wanted to leave it like that, just so I'm not using any die cutting on the flower, because there is the facility to do that with the what's available, but I just wanted to keep it quite simple. So I'll show you. You get 2 lots of really 2 sheets of stamps and bits and leaves and lots of little flowers and heaps of sentiments. So there's many ways you can go with this. Just going to use the large flower with the leaf. I pre-die cut with my stitch rectangles again. A piece of the DSP and same size with, I keep saying whisper white, we're just going up basic white cardstock. When I mount my photopolymer stamps, I will go like that and pick it up. This is the reason it's off the floor. The reason for doing that is when you have a die, you want, when you do it that way, your die is going to fit. If I did it this way, you could possibly rearrange the shape a little bit, and then your die might not fit properly. So you're better off just doing it like this. So I'm going to use basic gray because I didn't want a really strong color on the background for the flowers. I didn't use black. So I'm just going to use basic gray, and I do that sometimes when I want a more soft. I want a background, but like a base, but I don't want it really dark. I'm going to use Blushing Bride. And there is a little, not a little, like this big watch for the flower. It's a fillet. So it is 2-step stamping, but I tried. It's not it doesn't fit as such. So it's more arty, like, I guess. And give it a good press. Again, I'm using my paper piercing tool, matte, and it just gives you a good foundation for your stamping. Now I have to do the leaves. And I'll tell you what I did here. And this was not a mistake, it was a trial. Because I don't, I like Just Jade as a green. It's one of my favorites. So I thought I'll experiment because I didn't particularly want to do Mossy Meadow. And then I'm gonna see, can you see what I did? I put the stamp the wrong way. And now I've got the back of the stamp. Yep, that gives you another effect. That gives you the silhouette effect. Yeah, it does help the that tip with the dye. I mean, if you're just stamping like I am now, it wouldn't matter, but sometimes, yeah, it can make it go a bit weird. So let's put the stamp the right way now. And what I did was ink up with Just Jade. And then I went like this. And again, it's like a bit of an arty kind of stamp. And then I said, nah, that looks terrible. Because it just didn't look right. So I'm doing it the way I did it so you know what I did. So then I went with I think it was pear pizzazz. I'm not sure. But the pear pizzazz and pineapple, it'll give you a similar sort of look. Because I wanted a more pine like color. We'll experiment together. So I'm going a bit higher because I want to hit that. And you can do it with things like this because it's got no really big shape. So it gave me a bit of, I could go a bit more, but it's just giving me a bit of more greeny color. I might even go a granny apple on this just to give me a bit stronger color because I'm not quite happy with, I want to cover that Just Jade just that touch more. I'm not bothering to clean this stamp because it's already got the green shades on it. Yes, I would if it was a different green, but I'm not going to. Yeah. So that's a bit of a better green for what I'm going for. So that's how that color was achieved. I didn't plan to achieve that color. Then what I did was this. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on this back in the center because I just want to leave it a little bit like that. And that's my center done. Now I have gone ahead and embossed with the art embossing folder which we did use earlier, and I'm going to run my blushing brush using a sponge dauber over it to catch some of that color. And it looks, and how much or how little is your choice, but it looks quite effective when you do this. So this is something you can do with any embossing folder. You can put 2 colors, 3 colors. What do you think? It looks good, doesn't it? With the color. This is a bit darker than my original. So I'm doing it on a base of Rococo Rose. There's a few colors this suite goes with. Some blues, some purples. Then I took some of that the foil. I'll give you the name of it. It's called the Love You Always foil sheets, and I just had a bit of a strip left over, so and it's perfect for that. So I just adds a bit of a nice look about it, I think. Now what we'll do is add some dimensionals on the back of. You'll see that this is quite a nice and easy card to make. And yes, it's just stamping, but you don't always have to have die cuts and things like that. It works just as well. Generally, I would just put 4. I'll put another couple in the center only because it's quite a large piece and you don't want it sagging. And if you're going to mail it, and you just don't know whether you're going to mail it, unless you know you're definitely going to do it and give it to someone, you don't want it falling, all that kind of stuff. Like that. I want my white piece straight on that. And it doesn't matter, it's just something I wanted on that. Next I've got a little die cut. Now this is a piece that this die comes in the Hydrangea bundle. So you'll get that in, so it's easy for you. Isn't that a nice sentiment? You are capable of amazing things. Just a nice encouraging sentiment. Just want to make sure it's straight. I can always cut another one if it's not straight, but I need to do that. So I'm just using tuxedo for the sentiment. It's a black. Now let's just give it a test. I always hold my ink there, especially with the black, just that few seconds extra because it nicely makes that ink transfer. Just using some mini dimensionals. And this is Pear Pizzazz cardstock too. I like Pear Pizzazz. Actually, it's probably one of my, like Just Jade, I like Pear Pizzazz. Probably prefer it to Old Olive myself. I know Old Olive is a favorite. It's just sort of a medium green. Next, I'm going to add this for the Love You Always Sweet has this ribbon. So this is Blushing Bride. Okay. It's very close to what I know, so I'm just going to check that so you know. Yeah, it's Blushing Bride. tricky part with this is there are ways to tie it so that is not a different side, because it's not the same on both sides, but I am not worrying about that. I just tie the regular ribbon or bow. And then I did give this a twist. I'm kind of going to manipulate it a little bit so that your tails are right. That's probably the trickiest part of this card, just to manipulate your tails there. And if worst comes to worst, always use glue dots. They're your best friend when you're tying bows. Because you can always hold it together like that. I'll just stuff that down there. You can use some of these nice pearls. Why not? You've got them. So perhaps one, I don't know, let's see there. So those are those free pearls you're going to get today with those orders. And then for the inside of the card, I have just got a piece of DSP. Again, just tying in the outside of the card. I like the softness of that card, and just the pop of green is nice. Now there is no pizzazz on any of that paper or anything like that, but that's the beauty of when you create, you can just change it. If you think, oh yeah, I would prefer that, you can change it. And I'll just make the envelope up quickly. And I'll just do the same thing. If you caught me before, you would have seen me doing this. Like I said, you can do it with the 12 by 12. It's very much easier. With the 6 by 6, I've tried it. It just leaves a little bit hanging over. Big deal. A piece of this. It's right behind me. Handy. Let's go this way. Exactly where it's sticking out. You love this paper, Elaine? Sorry, I'm a little behind on the comments, sorry. Sometimes takes a while. It's pretty paper. It's just lovely soft colors. Really... You think it's a mum color? It's a mum color, isn't it? I think if my mum was around, I would have given her a card in this paper. So what do you think, guys? How do you like that? Do you like that sweet? Do you like the paper? Is there a particular shade in that paper that you like? Are you liking the pinks, the blues, or the purples in that paper? And I like that it ties in. You can tie it in with the other sweet as well with the foil. I just noticed that today actually. I'm going, oh, can use that. That would add a nice little bit in there. So just something, just look for crossing over between as well. That works well. So I'll see you in a little over an hour at 6. So thanks for joining me. If you have missed the other videos, make sure you go back and watch at your leisure and still comment. I'll announce winners tomorrow. So I'm really happy you can join up. I'm really enjoying this sort of thing where I've been able to share with you through the day. It's been loads of fun. So I'll see you back at 6 o'clock. Thanks, guys. Bye.